Alright, let's see what's going on. What's the reading about today? Wild woman. Wild woman. Don't be sad. Pay attention to your spirit animal, coyote. Right? Out of all the spirit animals, you've got the coyote. I suggest Googling. Go to Google. Look up coyote. Look up their traits, what they do, how they behave, what angers them, what they like, what they don't like, how are they in the winter, how are they in the summer, and then go ahead and look up the coyote as a spirit animal, right? But looking up the spirit animal on its own is not enough. I've noticed it's best to actually get to know the animal itself and their behavior. Okay. Hmm. Black Panther. For some of you, for you, the Black Panther is something that you either like very much, right? You like it, or you feel like that's your thing, right? Also, the cards are telling me that you're like a lucky charm for those, right, who are trying to help elevate the frequency of the humanity right now. You are the thing. Once again, like in my last reading yesterday, please don't go nuts. Keep a little humility there. Healthy humility and healthy ego is important. Balance so that you don't end up in random messiah complex and go enter the La La Land where you'll be medicated because you think you're Napoleon. Don't. You're just know that this is true. Have faith. Work hard. Do what you're doing. Continue and be humble. Right now, you feel like you're all alone, right? In terms of like you can't find. It feels like you might find people that you think are your soul group, but overall you can't find someone who is exactly on your wavelength, right? And that is possible. There are no two people the same, right? No two souls are the same. But the same wavelength is easy to find for most. But for you, it's difficult. And it looks like you get, let's see, I'm getting the feeling of it, but yes, you get excited. You get excited when you come together and find someone, right? But yet at the same time, you're always like, you always feel alone. It's like you're disappointed. You get excited, you find someone, and then you're like, oh my goodness, this is great. This must be my a soulmate, right? Mind you, soulmate and twin flame are not the same thing. This might be my soulmate, right? And end up being disappointed each time. Yes, and it's sort of this disappointment just like acts like a. It's almost like there to remind you that you need to walk your path alone. There's no one like you. Maybe there's a reason for it. You have access to multiple worlds and realms, right? So you might be able to communicate with the dead, right? Those who passed. You might be able to communicate. I don't like the word angel because I don't really understand it, and it doesn't feel right for me because I don't think it's an entity or being. But correct me if I'm wrong. But in my that's not it. Let's call them spirits. You communicate with the spirit world, right? Be they on from the lower world or an upper world or a middle world, you're able to communicate with a lot, and they work with you. They work with you because you develop some kind of respect for one another. I don't know what you do, but it looks like it's not telling me here that you're like running around to the cemeteries and then like slitting a rooster's throat and like I don't know, boiling frog's leg. You're not doing any of those things. But you're feeding them somehow. You're like you feed them. You feed them like your magic. This magic feeds them somehow. All of this worlds. How is that? What is it that you're giving them exactly? Ah, you think everything. Same card that like I'm gonna read it different. Look at how all the bugs are there and how he's looking at and everything's looking at him and all the creatures are around him. Your energy, right, attracts, and the energy is like, do you see this being here, this person here has Saturn's ring around the head, so it's your mind. You feed them with your mind. So usually in occult and magic, you would do, I don't know, some kind of crazy sacrifices, and just people are convinced that entities need some kind of death. That's not true. Not true at all. You can feed them differently, but even if they do need them, you think of where to send them, right? Like, they can feed off someone um, who needs their karmic lesson learned, right? Who's being a bad kitten. You can say, okay, don't leave this person alone. Go over there, right? Feed off of them, but don't harm. And it looks like they're listening to you, and they're also watching you. Like you don't always see them. Like here, see, like they're watching you. Here, they're watching you, but you're turned away with your back towards them. So anything that is an entity itself, you don't see them, but you do pay attention. You see them in the form of the creatures, right? So they do come to you in the form of creatures. This is fun. I'm having fun. We're having 2 days in a row a spiritual La La Land. Explain. You are the bridge of energies, right? You're like a cross. You create this cross energy, right? A perfect cross energy. My nose is itching. A cross energy. Oh my goodness. Ouch. A cross energy between the moon's frequency, right? Whatever the moon does, and the sun's frequency. So what I want you to do is also, that's your homework. Go to Mother Google and look up what does moon do. I mean, most of us know what moon does, right? It moves the waters around, but still, like, go ahead and dive deep into it. And then I know you know what sun does, but go ahead, look it up anyway, right? There will be something, some phrase there, or some sentence that might ring a bell that you would feel at ease relating to. So you're that cross, right? You bring those energies together. You work with both, right? Um, you. I don't like the word warrior, but we've been using it, so I'm going to use the terms that we presently relate to, so that you can understand what I'm saying, right? So your type of warrior, you know how they say light warriors and this, and that. You're different. You illuminate things, right? You illuminate things, not just like you don't fight darkness. You just like light things up, right? You just show the illuminate them, right? You just project light onto dark, right? So that you make things be known clearly. Yeah. You're one of those people, right? You're one of those souls who people witness, right? Like in history, it's like if someone wrote something about you years after, right, your existence, they'd say like, and this person was, right? It's like they would write about you as if like they witnessed you, right? Witnessed you doing things or witnessed you being a certain way. So you're here to be witnessed. You're doing your own thing. Really, it looks like you're not supposed to be doing really anything. You're just being. You're very gentle, right? When helping things transform. Let's say um, if you had to uproot, right? You're like a gentle gardener, right? You basically, that's how you approach people when you help them. You would see something, you would see some kind of trait in them. You do not judge them, and you gently just, you have this clarity of vision, how to go in, and then where that issue is coming from, and you like sharp pinpoint into a bullseye, and you trigger that, right? You trigger that, and then you tell them, and they're like rattled about it. And then you transform them, but you transform them by helping them experience certain things like emotions, a coldness and despair, but you pinpoint at it. So you have like an extra vision. Also, your tongue is very sharp. You've got a sharp tongue. So, powers. Wait, I want to know. Yeah. Your tongue's very sharp, right? So, because you can identify an issue and pinpoint at it, right? Like, should arrow right into the bullseye when a person has a problem. Identify where it's coming from and then bring it to the surface and like mirror it to them, like put it in their face. uh, you trigger emotions in people, right? And also people gather around you. They flock to you. Like people like unknowingly are attracted to you, and it looks like you're the person who someone goes to tell their problems or joys. It's like but like mostly like when people have issues, somehow they find you. It's like people gather around you are the people who need help. Right? You don't go find them; they find you. Like you could be sitting and someone would approach you and they would be needing help, and you'd be able to help them. Also, weather responds to you. The weather responds to you. I don't know. Have you ever thought of I don't want it to be rainy, and then the forecast would be rainy, and then it wouldn't be, or I want it to rain, and it would rain. So not like once in a while, but for those of you would know what I mean who have experienced this. If you have a question whether I'm this or that, then this part of it is not you. Um, for those of you who've been wondering what type of spiritual being you are, right? Like let's say, am I a witch, or am I a warlock, or am I a psychic, or am I don't know, a healer, or I don't know what else, but lots of other things. Am I a teacher? You're attracted by mysticism and the philosophy of it, right? Unknown philosophy, an interesting part of it because your imagination, remember in the beginning of the reading, right? Creative mind. And so you're a shaman. That's what you are. You're a shaman. Have you ever wondered who you are? That's exactly what you are. But look at the first word, what we have here. You're a mystical shaman. And what that actually means is that you do not practice the shamanism the way it's known right now. I don't know, you don't walk around, beat the drums, or because it is in you, right? Because you're across, you bridge this sun and moon energies, right? They're both are in you. You were born like this. So it's not like you came here and you had to access your masculine and then work through it, and then access your feminine and work through it. You were born with it. And it looks here that you were born with it and you had to suppress it at a certain age um, because it was not understood and you couldn't explain to anyone how you could do things that you did. And then they all wanted a label and you didn't have a label. So right now, my job is to tell you that you're the shaman, baby. That's what you are. I suggest go ahead, explore shamanism, explore what it is. There's all kinds of different kinds of shamanism, shamanic techniques there. Please go read about it. And then don't just pick any. I suggest choose and pick, like take a practice that resonates. You just read something, ooh, you'll be like, that sounds wonderful. What if I tried that, right? Take that. And then the same type of shamanism, which probably shamanic practice, right? Let's say you're like a certain type of shamanic practitioner, you're reading about them, and certain type of that shamanic practitioners would have something that you might like and something that you might not like. So pick and choose. Take whatever you like from that sect and leave out whatever you don't like. So pick and choose. That's the part of the mystical part of your shamanism. You have to be creative. It's like creating It's like creating your own religion, your own way.